Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Breaking Play, a series where I break down games of Guild Ball and look for lessons to improve future play. For this episode, I invited world champion and Adepticon runner-up Alex Botts from Strictly the Worst for a matchup between his Blacksmiths and my Masons, recorded at Chicagoland Games, aka the Dice Dojo, in Chicago, Illinois. Let's get to the game. Alex was dusting off his Blacksmiths after some time away from them and just had a 6 he wanted to play, so we went to formal draft, and I just picked 6 models of my own. Our teams were Captain Ferrite, Furnace, Hearth, Alloy, Cinder, Iron for the Blacksmiths, against Honor, Marbles, Brick, Mallet, Flint, Mist for the Masons. I've not had a lot of matches against Blacksmiths as Masons, but was able to take a win against Christian Metz's Blacksmiths with this 6 at the US Nationals at SteamCon last December. When facing a superior opponent, and a matchup I don't know extremely well, I'm happy to play this striker-heavy skew with Honor. This narrows my own focus and allows for some mild variance and a faster game plan to balance out some of the skill differential. Alex wins the roll-off and chooses to receive. I line up with Flint kicking, Honor and Brick to his left, Mallet, Marbles, and Mist to his right. Alex lines up from top to bottom Cinder, Alloy, Hearth, Iron, Ferrite, and Furnace. At first, Alex has Furnace and Cinder swapped, which could have been a big mistake. If Furnace is up behind the forest, then I've got a reasonable chance to put the ball somewhere near midfield where no blacksmith can get to it because of the forest. With Cinder there, though, kill the ball makes killing the ball impossible. Instead, I go for a short kick, just over the middle, hoping for the obstruction to at least be mildly annoying. The ball scatters 4 inches to the 6, and we call Pat over to be an objective judge of whether that successfully clears the center line. We all do a bit of measuring and conclude it just did clear. Alex allocates 1 to Cinder, 4 to Alloy, 1 to Hearth, 3 to Iron, 3 to Furnace. I allocate 4 each to Honor, Flint, and Mallet. Furnace then activates first, tools up Iron, sprints to get the ball, and kicks it to Ferrite, keeping the momentum. Ferrite is sitting right in front of the goal, so Flint goes next to try to get the 4-0 lead. I spend a good bit of time measuring, trying to find the right spot to charge. I'd like to get into tap-in range, but there's not a spot where I can do that without being engaged by another one of his models. I wasn't sure whether a 2-die tap-in was better than a 3-die normal shot, but there's also Ferrite's counterattack to think about. I decided to just stay out of any other model's engagement, where'd they go, and declare the charge. Alex declares a counterattack. Quick odds aside before carrying on, this was absolutely the correct choice. A 2-die tap-in is 88.9%, while a 3-die normal goal is 87.5%. Not much meaningful difference. However, giving Ferrite an extra die on her counterattack moves her odds of reaching her knockdown from around 13% to 35%. If not crowded out, Flint also has a meager 19.5% chance of wrapping to his push dodge on the charge to make 2 momentum and avoid the counterattack entirely. This isn't at all likely, but it's better than the 6% if he is crowded out. Trying for the tap-in is just an inviting disaster, especially as Ferrite has a push dodge the column before her knockdown, which can just move Flint out of tap-in. So on to the charge. Flint gets just 3 successes, but that's more than enough for the momentous tackle. Ferrite counters and also gets 3 successes, taking the push dodge and moving Flint into Hearth's melee and reducing the kick from 3 dice to 2. Flint takes a 2-die shot and misses, scattering the ball 2 inches to the 1, and Hearth is able to intercept it. Hearth then immediately activates next, attacking Flint and knocking him down. She then drops the ball to Alloy and jogs up, keeping within 2 inches of Flint to maintain the gang up. Brick activates next and just jogs forward. Then Ferrite jogs up into cover, where she's engaging Flint, and uses Get Over Here to move Iron into engagement also. Things are not looking good for Flint. Marbles jogs up next, being sure to stay within 4 inches of Brick to activate Go Ape. Iron then activates and attacks Flint, rolling 8 dice because of the 2 gang-ups. His first attack does 3 momentous damage, followed by 5 damage, and finally another 5 damage with 1 momentum each. This leaves Flint on 1 health, and Iron jogs further up the pitch, staying just outside 6 inches of marbles so as not to trigger Go Ape. Mist activates next, walks up into cover. I'm a bit worried he's in a dangerous spot when I make this move, but I want to be able to threaten the ball on this flank if necessary next turn. Cinder then jogs to 6 inches of flint, and Alex measures out 8 inches, also presumably where Ally will be later, planning ahead to pass her the ball maybe. She then uses her hot shot trait to make one attack on Flint, taking a momentous 2 damage result to take him out. This brings the Blacksmiths up to 6 momentum and puts the score at 0-2. Mallet sprints up next, keeping 3 influence. Ally takes the final Blacksmith's activation, and Alex does quite a bit of measuring and debating. He looks at a possible goal run, but ultimately decides to set up for turn 2 instead. He takes 2-inch melee for beginning near Hearth, then walks to 6 inches of Mist, just outside of Go Ape range. He makes a pass to Cinder with bonus time and succeeds, dodging into engagement with Mist. He's on 4 dice because of cover and can make 3 attacks. His first swing spikes 3 hits, taking the momentous Dirty Knives. His next 2 swings both get 2 hits, selecting a momentous dodge and 1 damage, leaving Mist poisoned and on 10 health. Now during this entire activation, I was excited that Alex had broken the forming standoff and was planning to send my soon-to-be superior strategy Mallet into Ally to end the turn. Then he uses Back to the Shadows to dodge back to his lines, and my heart sinks. I'd forgotten he had that trait, and Alex hadn't broken the standoff at all. So Honor has to go now, and I have to debate about how to end this turn. Alex is way up in momentum, and I can't see anywhere worthwhile to put Mallet into his team, given the fact he is near certain to go first. I decide to postpone breaking the standoff till next turn, and just sprint Honor up and quick time Mallet to dodge him up a bit and clear a countercharge lane for Brick. I didn't figure I needed to move him much further than that, and this puts Honor a bit further up to give her more options next turn depending how things break. This, however, turns out to be a catastrophic mistake, as we will soon see. And there's another, much better option that I should have seen. At the start of turn 2, we reveal our cards. I take Go for the Knees, and Alex takes Hunker Down. Alex chooses to make me go first, and I begin to realize just how bad the situation is. I put +1 attack on Mallet, Mist poisons down to 8, and Flint returns to the pitch. I see a possible goal attempt with Mallet, but he's about an inch short of being able to get into range. I'd been worried about overextending him the turn before, but if I'd looked ahead properly, I could have used superior strategy to move him further up along the side to be in position to actually threaten the goal. This would have made it dangerous for Alex to make me go first, and if he had had me go second, I would have had a momentum to stand up anybody that Hearth knocked down. Regardless, I allocate 4 to Mallet, 6 to Honor, and 1 each to Brick and Marbles. Alex gives 4 to Alloy, 3 to Iron, 2 to Furnace, 2 to Hearth, and 2 to Cinder, getting 1 extra due to his game plan card. I still don't see a good activation to break the standoff, so I go with a delaying activation to start the turn and move Mist back onto the obstruction. The thought in this positioning is that a model that comes in can't get to base contact with Mist, and giving him better odds of dodging out if he gets to counter. It also means that they have to come a little closer to Honor and Marbles. Watching back, I think Mallet should have gone here and gone for the ball anyway, just to get some momentum and kick it back to my team. I'm not sure whether had Mallet gone in for the ball, that he could have actually gotten it back to my team successfully and safely, simply because Cinder could have gone next if the ball didn't scatter to one of my teammates to snap it, and used Kill the Ball to kick it back out from the Blacksmith goal and get it back to their team. But that activation would have been worth considering. My tactical decisions to begin this turn are abandoning the aggressive football strategy of the team I've brought to the game. Flexibility is good, but here I'm just being aimless. Hearth takes the first activation for the Blacksmiths, legendarying for 3-inch melee, and walks up to engage Mallet outside of Go Ape range. Her first swing knocks him down momentously, and her second momentously pushes him out of engagement. The situation has gone from bad to terrible, as I need to find momentum now in order to use Mallet's influence, and I don't see a profitable way to get any without just throwing Honor's activation away for it. Not wanting to do that yet, I decided to delay more and hope to find a good opening for her to activate. Along that line, Marbles makes a slight jog and throws a goad at Iron, succeeding. Cinder goes next and takes a bonus time to pass to Hearth. She misses the pass, but it scatters such that Hearth can just pick it up. Cinder then walks up to 6 inches of Mallet for hot shot attack, taking momentous 2 damage and dropping him to 14 health. Flint then continues my aimless delay and jogs up to midfield. Before continuing on to the next activation, I want to discuss an interesting possible activation I could have taken here instead of Flint. Rewatching the game, it looks like Honor actually might have a goal run attempt available, but I never seriously considered it in the game. I think I got as far as recognizing Honor wouldn't be able to dodge out of Hearth's 3-inch melee zone due to the legendary this turn, and tossed the idea out. With the luxury of time to look at it, however, I think that's not necessarily as bad as I imagined, even with her improved counterattack due to Hunker Down. The only result that's troublesome early is the double push, but Hearth is only 26% to hit that, even with the 2 extra Hunker Down dice. With a bonus time that goes up to almost 47%, but even if that not quite coin flip hits, Quick Time gets Honor back in with a clear path to tackle, and then dodge her way around into goal range. She's 94% to hit the 1 and a double dodge. So if Hearth counters early, the goal is pretty highly likely. The difficulty still is that once Honor tackles the ball, if Hearth times a counter right, she can just knock her down and scatter the ball. Additionally, Hearth's 3-inch melee from her legendary means Honor can't take the tackle when Hearth doesn't counter, and then make an additional attack to 1 and a double dodge out of engagement. If Alex thinks this through and holds his counter, as I expect he would, then Honor would have to play a bit of counter chicken here with Hearth. If she can make an attack at 3 inches of the goal without Hearth countering, then she can tackle and quick time into goal range. But if Hearth counters there, it could be problematic. Essentially, if Honor can get into that position of 8 inches from the goal and engaging Hearth, while having 4 influence remaining after the attack, including 1 from her legendary, and assuming there's also a spot where she can be within 6 inches of the goal while engaging Hearth, then it doesn't actually matter whether Hearth counters. If she does counter, then Honor just takes 1 and a double dodge to the position 6 inches from the goal engaging Hearth. Worst case, Hearth double pushes her and then she quick times back in, spends her 6th influence to tackle and her 7th to take the shot. This probably means she should legendary first, so Brick and Mallet both get extra influence as well. However, it's hard to say for sure whether this positioning is possible from the video. It looks likely to me, remembering the deployment line is 4 inches from the goal line, and midfield is 8 inches from there, but it could be pretty close. What do you think? Is a goal on the table for Honor here? Back to the game as it was, Alex follows Flint's jog with Alloy, who jogs up to engage Mist outside 1 inch of marbles. The short jog up to Goad Iron earlier moved him out of Go Ape range of Brick, so there's no countercharge to worry about. Alloy is rolling 4 dice due to cover, and gets no hits on his first attack, 2 hits on his second for 1 damage, 3 hits on his third, putting Dirty Knives on Honor, and then 2 hits for a momentous dodge on his final attack, followed by a Back to the Shadows dodge back to his lines. This puts Mist on 7 and Honor on 16 health. Brick goes next and just sprints up to engage Hearth. Here again, I might have been able to take that Honor goal run instead if I didn't at the Flint activation. Alex moves Ferrite up, staying just outside 3 inches of Mallet and using Get Over Here to dodge Iron Over. This gets him into a position where he might be able to do something despite being goaded. This also walls off the goal run, and that window, if it was ever truly open, is firmly closed. However, I'm down to Honor and Mallet left to activate, so I can't delay any longer. Honor activates and walks up to engage Iron at max melee, just outside of Ferrite, but within 3 inches of Hearth. She attacks Iron, and Alex counters. She gets the 2 results she needs for a momentous 1 and a double dodge. The damage is reduced to 0 by Tough Hide, but the dodge gets her out of Iron's melee range and into engagement with Ferrite, negating Iron's counter. She then swings at Ferrite, and Alex counters again. This time Honor only gets 1 success, selecting 1 damage. Ferrite gets 3 successes on her counterattack and selects Disarm. Honor is not going to get anywhere productive making further attacks, so she spends 2 to quick time Mallet up so he can engage as soon as he stands up, and then buys 2 final attacks on Ferrite, getting 1 damage and then no results. Ferrite ends the activation on 15 health. This turn has been an absolute disaster. While delaying Honor until the time was right was the correct plan, that time came and went, and I kept on waiting to be left with this underwhelming activation. Furnace next walks over to attack Honor twice. His first attack takes momentous 1 damage, causing Burning and Searing Strike, reducing her armor by 1. He then tosses one at a time lads onto Brick and Mallet, followed by a final attack netting 5 successes and taking a momentous double push, pushing Honor into Iron's melee, and Honor is now on 15 health. Mallet finally activates, spending momentum to stand and attacking Hearth. Alex counters, and Mallet takes momentous singled out off his 3 successes. Since she's sturdy, the knockdown wouldn't do a lot. Hearth's counterattack knocks Mallet down, so he sacrifices his movement to stand back up. His second attack nets 5 hits, and he momentously tackles the ball. His third attack again gets 5 successes, and he takes momentous 2 damage, bringing Hearth to 21 health. With his last influence, he kicks the ball to space just shy of Flint, who is sadly just over 7 inches away. The ball scatters 1 inch to the 4, and Flint snaps it. Iron has the final activation of the turn and attacks Honor. I declare her poised counterattack because it's free, even though she can't get any net hits with the single die she'd rolled between crowdouts and disarm. His first attack nets the full book, taking momentous 7 and dropping her to 8. His second and third attacks both also hit momentous 7, taking her out and bringing the score to 0 to 4 Blacksmiths. Turn 2 ended with momentum at 3 for the Masons to 8 for the Blacksmiths. We select our game plan cards, and Alex reveals Dig Deep, while I reveal Get Back in There. Alex has made good use of these low initiative, bonus influence cards this game, and wins the initiative again. Who's going to go first? He allocates 4 to Alloy, 4 to Iron, 3 to Hearth, 2 to Furnace, and 1 to Ferrite. I bring Honor back on, Mist poisons down to 5, and I allocate 2 to Honor, 2 to Brick, 4 to Mallet, and 4 to Flint. Hearth leads off the turn, knocking down both Brick and Mallet, buying Use This to give Iron 2-inch melee, and then jogging up to base with both Brick and Mallet, while staying within 8 inches of Alloy for his start of activation trigger. I go next with Flint and perhaps jump the gun on this goal attempt. He sprints up next to Cinder, and she unpredictables around between him and the goal. This prevents him from getting into tap-in range, but he uses Where Do They Go to dodge around her and out of engagement, and then takes the shot with 4 dice and hits it, bringing the score to 4 to 4. Alex kicks the ball out toward Alloy, and it scatters 4 inches to the 6, going right to Furnace, who takes it. Iron then activates, walking up to 2 inches of the knockdown Mallet, and buys an attack, hitting momentous 4 damage, and dropping Mallet to 10. His second attack is bonus time and hits the same result, bringing him to 6. A third attack with no bonus time, another momentous 4, bringing him to 2 health. His final swing once again hits momentous 4, taking Mallet out, and bringing the score to 4 to 6. Iron then spends 2 momentum to heal Ferrite back to full. I almost certainly should have activated Mallet here instead of taking the goal, especially as the ball was safe on Flint where he was. But Brick goes next, sacrificing his movement to stand. He attacks Hearth and Alex counters. Brick gets just 2 net hits, taking momentous 2 damage, and knocking Hearth back into base with Ferrite. Hearth knocks him down on the counter, and he spends the momentum to stand. His second attack gets 3 net hits and clears sturdy, but his third attack gets no successes. The activation ends with Hearth standing on 19 health. Furnace then drops the ball to Alloy, tools him up, and walks up to engage both Mist and Marbles. He uses his legendary to get +1 armor, and then attacks Mist, taking momentous 1 damage and causing burning, which puts Mist to 4 health. I've got to activate Mist next to prevent Alloy killing him, so he heals back to 8 health, and walks back to max 2 inches of Furnace. Here I think I definitely should have risked the parting blow and gotten him further away and disengaged, as Furnace is only 43% to hit the knockdown, and Mist really needs to get out of there. Alloy goes next, and with Mist's positioning is able to acrobatic and then jog up onto the obstruction next to him. He makes 2 attacks, taking 2 damage each time, followed by a bonus timed 3-die shot on goal which hits. Alloy then uses a combination of Run the Length and Back to the Shadows to dodge back behind Furnace. Mist is back down to 4 health. Good thing I healed him, I guess, though it's probably just delaying the finale at this point. And the score is 4 to 10. I kick the ball out behind Honor, but it scatters 6 inches to the 5, up between Marbles and Mist. I consider conceding the game here, as I don't see any real chance of preventing Mist's demise, but ultimately I decide to play it out for the video and treat it like a tournament game. The one out I see is for Honor to get 2 momentum with my 2 remaining influence, and clear Mist's conditions, as he's going to drop to 1 health during maintenance currently. I use this next activation to walk marbles up to engage Furnace and Ally to try and set that up. Sinner goes next and walks up to base with Brick. Honor then uses my final activation to walk up to engage Furnace, thanks to the +2/+2 speed for my card, and picks up the ball on the way. She attacks, Furnace counters, and she only gets one net hit, doing 1 non-momentous damage. His counter does 1 damage, Burning and Searing Strike, and her final attack gets 3 successes for momentous 2. I only have 1 momentum, so she heals herself, putting her at 12 and Furnace at 17. Perhaps I should have spent the legendary here just to try to get that second momentum to take the long shot of the game continuing, but I didn't make that decision. Ferrite then ends the turn by walking up to engage Brick and using Get Over Here to dodge Iron in as well. She makes her single attack, wrapping to knock down a weak point to end the turn up 4 momentum to 0, and it's just a formality now. At the start of turn 4, Alex chooses wingbacks to my Keep Your Chin Up, and wins the initiative, electing to go first. He allocates 2 to Furnace, 4 to Alloy, 4 to Iron, 2 to Ferrite, and 1 to Hearth. On my side I bring Mallet back on, while Mist burns and poisons down to 1, and Honor burns down to 11. I allocate 6 to Honor, 2 to Mist, 2 to Flint, and 2 to Mallet, forgetting 1 influence. Alex chooses to start with Iron and charge Mist, as this gives him the maximum dice to get the 1 success he needs. I have to use my 1 momentum to counterattack because a defensive stance at best just makes him take 2 more swings to try for the 1 damage. He hits 5 successes on the charge though, taking Mist out and ending the game 4-12. Thank you for watching. There was no shortage of mistakes on my side this game and lessons to be learned, but I think the Mallet non-action on turn 1 and the Honor inaction on turn 2 jointly illustrate what stands out to me as the key lesson pair of this game. The worst plan is no plan at all, and if you settle on a bold, aggressive game plan, you have to commit to it and strike. There's risk involved, but falling back into caution midway through with no real plan means sure defeat. If you'd like to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe to this channel for notification when future episodes release. I'm a little slow at getting these put together, but I hope to release an episode every month or 2 as time permits. Episode 3 is already in the queue, featuring a pickup game I got with WTC team member Jacob Frellinger out at Kingdom Con. Look for that in a few weeks, and may your play always be improving.